Good evening, Santa Paula families, and welcome to our virtual back to school night. My name is Ms. Hopkins, and I'm teaching AVID 3 this year. I've been with Santa Paula High School for a few years now, but this is my first time teaching AVID 3, and I'm really excited about it. I've taught AVID 1 in the past, so I've had many of your children before in my classes. These last 2 years of AVID, junior and senior year, are extremely important for students. We really focus on preparing students to apply for college, and I'll talk a little bit about that tonight. So first of all, I have our syllabus open. I did post an extra copy of this on our Google Classroom, which you can view at any time. My contact information is on the top of the page here. So you have my phone number and extension. You also have my email address, which has changed. If you have noticed, staff and students' emails are a little different than they were before. We have a different domain. So all of our emails now end with santapaulasd.org. I do not have office hours this year since we're on campus, but I do make myself available to students if they need help. I'm available for about an hour before and after school. So if students need to meet with me, they can either come to my room, 118, or they can email me. So a little about AVID. AVID is an academic elective course that prepares students for entrance into a four-year college. Students participate in activities that incorporate strategies focused on writing, inquiry, collaboration, organization, and reading. This course emphasizes rhetorical reading, analytical writing, collaborative discussion strategies, tutorial inquiry study groups, preparation for college entrance and placement exams, college study skills, and test-taking strategies, as well as note-taking and research. In AVID 3 specifically, we spend time preparing for the SAT, as well as the ACT. So for example, this semester, students will register for the PSAT, which is essentially a practice SAT. They'll learn what areas they need to improve. And then next semester, they will take the SAT for the first time. We will help them register for those tests, and we do have fee waivers for both of those tests. We will also complete a service learning project in AVID 3. So students will have the opportunity to research a community service project and then complete that community service. This year, junior AVID students do need to complete 20 hours of community service per semester. Students can complete that anytime between now and December, and for second semester, January through June. But again, they do need 20 hours of community service. I know some students work events, so they work the pumpkin patch event, they work the science night. Some students volunteer with different organizations like Spark. I have ideas posted for students in our classroom and on our Google Classroom. So if they need some help identifying volunteer opportunities, they can talk to me if they need some extra guidance. But again, students do need to complete those 20 hours of community service per semester. We want students to appear well-rounded when they apply to various colleges. And colleges want to see that students are not only focused on academics, but also they're serving their community. In terms of supplies, students do need to bring a Chromebook to school every day. That means they also need to charge their Chromebook before they bring it to school. I have a couple extra chargers in our classroom, but definitely not enough for 30 to 40 students. So it's very important students remember to charge their laptop before bringing it to class. Students also need a 3-ring binder, agenda, highlighters, pens, and pencils, which I've already provided to them. And I have extras if they're needed. Some course objectives here you can see. Students will take courses that meet four-year college entrance requirements. They will participate in tutorials. So they'll receive help on homework or on tests as well. We have college tutors who come into the classroom and help students complete their tutorials. I know this is especially important for students this year since many students are taking Math 3, and that tends to be a challenging class. Students will also learn skills such as note-taking, organization, time management, and goal setting. So we will organize our Google Drives as well as our binders, which will help students prepare for their final exams, and also for college applications, since many students will need to submit writing samples. Students will improve their oral communication skills through presentations and Socratic seminars. Students will also participate in writing activities, including note-taking, learning logs, and essay writing. We will draft a few personal statements. Students do need to write a personal statement, or they will need to write essays when they apply for colleges at the beginning of next school year. So we will practice that as well in this class. And students will begin a multi-grade level portfolio of their work in AVID. The majority of our work will be submitted on Google Classroom. TRFs in tutorials and a few other assignments will be submitted on paper. So the best place to check grades would be our queue system. And at the end of this video, I'll show you how to get there if you're not sure. Class expectations are pretty basic here. I do expect students to act appropriately and respectfully. They do need to follow the dress code. Students need to make sure they arrive before the bell rings. That way they're in their seat, ready to go when class begins. At our school, when a student is tardy, a detention is automatically assigned by our computer system. So it's very important that students arrive on time. Students also need to wear their masks indoors, and that needs to be over their nose. That also means that food is not permitted in the classroom, since we do have the mask requirement. I do accept late work up to 1 week late for no more than 70% credit. I realize that it's been an adjustment coming back to campus after being home for a year due to COVID. I have been a little more lenient this semester. If students need some additional time, they just need to communicate with me. I'm happy to give them an extra day or two on the majority of our assignments. For larger presentations or projects, they do need to adhere to the due date since they have plenty of time in advance to prepare. But for our normal assignments, I don't mind giving a little extra time as long as they ask for it. TRFs will not be accepted late, and that is because TRFs are required for tutorials. This is the form students need to fill out before they attend a tutorial, and that's not something they can make up. They need to make sure they are prepared for tutorials and bring a completed TRF with them to class. If students are absent, it's their responsibility to make up the work that they missed. They have as many days as they were absent to submit their work. So for example, if they're absent for 2 days, they have 2 extra days to complete that assignment. And again, they need to keep track of their assignments. I have over 200 students this year, so students need to take some personal responsibility regarding making up their work. If they do miss a tutorial, they do need to turn in their TRF. Obviously, they won't earn the participation points for communicating with their group, but I can still give them points for the work they completed on their TRF. I do offer extra credit periodically throughout the semester. Extra credit may not exceed 5% of the grade. We do have tutoring available on campus as well. So if you find that your child is struggling in one of their classes or needs some additional help, of course, I'm available, but we also have tutoring before and after school. We also have a website called tutor.com where students can receive help at any time of the day. Here's the grading criteria for our class. Classwork and participation is worth 35% of the grade. The portfolio and community service, which are our larger projects throughout the year, are worth 20%. Organization, which would be agendas, binders, Google Drive organization, that's also worth 20% of the grade. Tutorials, which take place all year long, worth 20% of the grade. And then last, accelerated reader, 5%. So all Santa Paula High School students are required to participate in the accelerated reader program. Juniors need to earn 20 AR points per semester. I have books available in my classroom. We have many books in the library that students can check out. But essentially, here's how it works. Students will choose a book to read on their own. They will check it out from the library or from me. They'll read it, maybe during advisory or at home. And after they're finished reading it, they'll take the AR test and they will earn points for the books that they read. I know that in many English classes, students will take the AR tests for the curriculum they're actually reading together in class, so that'll help them earn some points. But again, every book and every story is worth a different amount of points, so students need to keep track of how many points those books are worth, and they need to make sure they're taking their AR tests. If you have questions about that, please let me know. So again, tutorials. Each week, students will bring a TRF form to the tutorial, and college tutors will be there to help them solve their homework problems. I also encourage students to bring questions from tests that maybe they didn't do so well on, so we can make sure that they're prepared for their future tests and for their finals. I do, like I stated, require that students bring a binder to school. It does need to stay organized. I've given them a pencil pouch, organizer tabs and dividers for their binders, writing utensils, and I have extras. So students have no excuse not to bring this to class. And again, it's very important that they stay organized. A couple other just basic guidelines I'd like to touch on. Students who engage in acts of dishonesty, plagiarism, or cheating will be subject to disciplinary actions, including receiving an F on that assignment or test, and attending a conference with the assistant principal or counselor, as well as parents. Again, I've been understanding it's been an adjustment for everyone to come back to campus. So if students need extra help or extra time, they really just need to communicate with me. There is no reason for them to cheat. Also, a note here about behavioral issues. So for minor behavioral issues, I'll typically issue a warning and speak with that student. But any disrespectful behavior like name calling, insulting, making derogatory or discriminatory comments, bullying, will absolutely not be tolerated in our classroom. I will call you as well as our assistant principal and counselor, and we will have a conference about it if this is something that occurs in the classroom. And I'd like to just point out one more thing before I let you go, maybe a couple more things. So first of all, our Google Classroom is here. If you go to our classwork tab from the homepage, you can see all of our general resources. So I posted our campus map, the school calendar for this year, our bell schedule, dress code, and the syllabus. So all of the information you need is here. You can also see all of the assignments posted below. We do have a new domain, like I mentioned, and that means we also have a new website. So our new website you can see up here is santapaullausd.org/SPHS. And this website is the best way to get on Q. So if you hover over Q's angle up here, you'll see Parent Connect or Student Connect. All of your children know how to log into Student Connect and check their grades. They need to log in with their ID number and their password. However, parents also have a login. You can log into Parent Connect to see their grades as well. And like I said, this is the best way to check grades since not all assignments are on Google Classroom. And this is true for all classes. If you don't have your login or if you lost your login, please contact the main office and they can help you log into Parent Connect. So if you have any questions or concerns, or if you need anything from me, please feel free to reach out at any time. I check my email often throughout the day, and I have my phone calls routed through my cell phone as well. So I try to respond as quickly as possible. I hope you have a great rest of your evening and a great virtual back to school night. And hopefully I can meet you in person sometime in the future. Have a great night. Thank you.